We are basically recording, and this is all about love. Yes, yes, yes. He was a little bit spurred on from a very good friend of mine that I've known for years, Gareth Oliver. I've known him for over 20 years now. It must be 25, but I'm 29, so I must have known him about 25 years now. I met him when I was about 3 or 4, and we've been remained friends ever since. Although he has drifted off into other parts of the world, he's gone into the army and done things and bits and bobs, and therefore keeping in touch has not always been the easiest thing. Luckily he has got Facebook. We've added each other on there, and he's come on every so often and been able to talk to me. And basically he said I'm a good friend because I can talk to him, and he's telling me about that he loves somebody in Scotland. Yeah, I know. It's a bit far from where we basically live because we're from Peterborough. But he said to me that it shouldn't matter where they live, long distance and all this. It can work if you make it work. And that spurred me on to an idea that can it work? Can a long distance relationship work? And I've always said it can. I've always said that it's hard in many ways because you're not there all the time, 24/7. You know, it's not like you can just jump on a bus unless you're rich and you can go travelling around the world, and you can just hop on a plane wherever you like after you've booked your tickets. If you've got a passport, you can, or basically or you're rich and can actually go places every day, then lucky for you. But some people don't have all that money to go travelling and all that, and therefore, you meet somebody from the other side of the world, or it could be an hour, 2 hours away from where you live in another town, and you sort of get close, and you sort of think, well, would it work? And it can, but if you don't have that sort of money to always go and do it, and plus it has to be mutual. I always think that with long distance relationships and when you love somebody, you've always got to make sure that they're willing to do just as much as what you do. I mean, I find that I've seen it. I've gone to see some of my friends a few times, but they've never come to see me. And it's about when you love somebody, you got to think, oh, if they wanted to connect, you go with somebody and they don't live in your area, what you've got to do is you've got to say, well, it's like a compromise. You'll say to them, if I visit you next week, right, would you come and visit me, say, the week after, or whenever, and you sort of have that bond, where you visit and they visit you, without you always going, and it's also things like texting, and you've got to keep in contact, because I do find that sometimes that you're making that move all the time. I find that I text many people, but I never always get a text back. I mean, they might say they've got no credit, but how do I know they're not texting somebody else? How do I know that? I don't know. I don't know what proportion of texting people are sending. I basically text a few people each week. I'm not saying I text every day, but I certainly will text a few times a week. And some people do text me back. I understand I'll text and they're like, oh, just flip me a text. We're exchanging a few texts before we actually turn around and say we have to go and do something, like it's tea time or whatever. We have to go out, and we can't text for that foreseeable time, but we text that one. But there's a few people that I know that I'm texting, and it's that thing where when you text somebody, you expect that, you think, oh, they must have credit, and if they've got credit, they're going to text you back. But it don't always work for me. I don't always get texts back, and that's what you've got to remember with your relationship. Whether they live so fast, you've got to have that. You've got to have that thing. But if you're going to text, if you're in a relationship with somebody and they don't live in your area, and you're texting them, you've got to know that they're going to text back, because you're thinking, this is. I'm not saying you have to basically get it all the time, but there's no reason why you can't say a few texts a day to that person, and it just goes to show that they're going to text you back. It goes to show that they care, and even if it ain't texting, you might grab on the internet or something like that. That's where you get that sort of thing, because sometimes internet can lead to it. You're on MSN or Facebook, and you're able to text them, and that's a really good thing to do. Anyway, bye for now.